Hey, I'm Ben Silverio.
And I'm Lavender Vyxn.
And I'm Ansel Burch.
And it's
time to party!
Hey.
This episode was recorded on October 23rd, 2023. We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly.
Finger guns and air instruments all over the place.
Yeah.
And
Great
puppies.
for a podcast is finger
Hey,
guns,
guys.
huh? It's very visual.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the finger part of finger guns. Essential to
Everyone,
podcasting.
Like, hold up your fingers. That's what I'm doing. Pew, pew, pew.
That's rule number one of podcasting. Talk about your physical activity.
Mm-hmm. Just describe it. That makes it okay.
Absolutely. You know, we can be like those talkies.
Mm-hmm. Well, hi and welcome, Lavender. It's so wonderful to have you on the show.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
I'm also glad to be finally a little bit part of the cool movie club that you and Ben have going. It's
very exclusive.
mm-hmm,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Party people, for those of you who don't know, and you probably don't because you're not part of the club.
Because they weren't there in your living room those times.
Yeah. Lavender is a very good friend of mine. We met through the lovely and talented Hell in a Handbasket. And we found out that we have very similar taste in movies and stuff. So before I left Chicago, also, hey, fun fact, since the last time we recorded, I left Chicago. I'm in LA now, where it's nice and warm. But yeah, Lavender and I hung out a lot every week, mostly, and watched a double feature. Usually I would pick something and she would pick something, and then we'd get drunk and talk about it. It's very classy.
I mean, sounds like what we're about to do now, so...
Yeah. It was just such a pivotal thing to do every Monday. I was like, I got time, you got time, let's do it. I loved our combination of, like, we decided on themes and just like what each of us chose was really unique and funny.
Yeah, the first one was Licorice Pizza and Harold and Maude.
That's right.
Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
And it was...
And then
What was the connective tissue? Yeah, what was the theme there?
Oh, you know, what's the right word for this? I don't want to say like unconventional relationships because, like, you know, it's every relationship can be unconventional, but I guess, you know,
So like unlikely pairings or that.
yeah,
something like
but
that?
like I guess it's really like age gap romances, you know, even though Licorice Pizza wasn't technically a romance.
No, but there's a relationship there. Yeah.
You know, teenagers and their situationships.
Crossing the gender.
But yeah, like I remember when Licorice Pizza came out, there was a lot of comparison to Harold and Maude, just because of, you know, how quirky these couples were.
Yeah, that was for Valentine's Day, I remember.
Oh my god, that's
It was
right.
like around that time. And then my favorite theme that we came up with was like for best friends.
Oh.
And it was for you chose Harold and Kumar. And I chose shoot, I'm blanking. What's the name? Thelma and
Thelma
Louise.
and Louise.
Of course, obviously. Unconventional friendships. I think that was the name of our theme.
All right, well, let's talk about the movie. Ben, what movie did we watch this month?
Yes, so as Ansel mentioned, we've been on a little break. And you know, the pantheon of time travel movies is so vast. So we could have picked so many different things. But here we are. Brand new time travel movies keep coming out. So we thought that we'd talk about the latest from Amazon Prime Video, Totally Killer. For those of you who don't know, our good friends at IMDb described the movie thusly. When the infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder spree to claim another victim, 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back to 1987, determined to stop the killer before he can start. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of covers the bases. There's only a few inaccuracies in that two-sentence statement, but But hey, nobody's perfect.
It's true.
But we're not reviewing the movie or the
Synopsis.
log line at this point.
Yeah. In case you forgot how we do things around here, this first episode is our drinking and smoking rule episode, where we give you some fun guidelines so that you may enjoy your vice of choice while viewing a delightful piece of cinema. Typically, I would say it's an excuse for you to watch the movie again, but there is a very good chance that you haven't seen this movie at all yet. I mean, it's only been out for a couple weeks at this point of recording. Yeah. But, it's out there. It's on Prime Video, and you should totally check it out. Because it's from the creator, showrunner, writer of Fresh Off the Boat and Young Rock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah, right. So, if you enjoy those shows, I think you'll definitely enjoy this movie. But we'll talk more about that in the second episode. I'll get the ball rolling with the drinking rules. How about that?
Great.
Sounds good.
So my first rule is take a drink whenever someone references another time travel movie.
Excellent.
There are a ton of references to other movies in this movie. The primary one is Back to the Future, because Back to the Future is amazing, incredible.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the last movies that I saw at my favorite theater in Chicago before moving was with Lavender, and we saw all 3 Back to the Future movies, 35 millimeter.
And I held my pee the whole time. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, wow, for 3 movies? Impressive.
I really didn't know if I was going to make it, but it was so much fun.
You made it. and you brought chimichangas.
Yeah, that was a choice.
We still ate
You
them.
loaded the can and then just waited.
Yeah, I wanted a deep fried burrito, and they gave me so much sour cream on that sucker, huh?
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't complaining at the time. It was delicious.
Just, casual movie snacks.
Chimichangas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lavender, your first rule.
Okay. Anytime there is like an intensely bloody scene, just goes on forever. Take a drink.
Okay. So without spoiling it too much, anytime it's like, are we thinking more than a few seconds of blood? How do we determine an intensely bloody scene? Or I guess you'll know it when you see it.
I'm gonna leave that to drinkers and smokers' choice. There was a very funny scene that I loved, and when it happens, you can also take a drink. When any use of dodgeball, which is just so 80s and early 90s. I grew up in the early 90s, so
yeah, the trauma is real. God, that gave me flashbacks. That scene. It's like, oh,
what is
man.
this, Bottoms? Jeez.
Yeah, I love Bottoms. Bottoms is such a good movie. Everyone should go watch Bottoms. Yes. My next rule, take a drink whenever Jamie meets the teen version of someone they know. So, like when she encounters a parent, but as a teenager. It happens a bunch. But also there's Randall Park's character, who is the sheriff, who's the dad of one of the parents. So there's a lot of characters that pop up in both the present and the past. You can even use this as a smoking rule, just as like a trippy thing, being like, whoa, I know them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be a good smoking rule.
Speaking of smoking rule, there is lots of reference to 80s weed. So this is for my 420 viewers, 420 friendly viewers, is take a toke when anyone references 80s weed specifically.
and how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
We here at Time to Party are very respectful, though you may not know it. We try to be. We're very respectful people.
Yeah,
Ansel, as a time
upstanding
traveler, has
young
to be,
people.
Pretty respectful.
Yeah, I got to keep myself out of the bad parts of the Encyclopedia Britannica,
Right.
for my future self. Yeah.
Yeah, when they say, you know, uh, what is it? Bad girls rarely make history or something. What's the proper
Yeah.
quote?
Well-behaved women seldom make history.
That's what it
There it
Ugh,
is.
is.
that just like left
Yeah.
a horrible taste in my mouth. Ugh. Well behaved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the whole reason why I bring it up is because
I
Ansel
think
has to be
that's
well
why it's
behaved.
perfect in the phrase. It's like, ooh, gross. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I don't want that.
Except you, specifically, you do want that so you don't end up in the wrong part of the history books.
Yeah, well, I'm a white dude though, so like
True.
I gotta pull back for everybody else's sake on this point. Like, we've done enough damage, frankly.
A white man.
Ben, what's your next rule?
My next rule, we here at Time to Party are very respectful people, or we try to be, maybe, when we want to. But we totally need to give a shot out of respect for the great Molly Ringwald. As an icon of 80s cinema, she plays a big role in this movie. She's not in it, but they reference her a lot. And she's great. Like, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, St. Elmo's Fire, Breakfast Club. Like, Lavender, if you were a teenager in the 80s, which Molly Ringwald character would you dress like?
Oh, I loved her outfit in Breakfast Club. It's just like leather. It was like this leather skirt. She had a cool jacket that matched it. And the jacket like came on at the very end when she was like saying goodbye. Oh, she looks so cool. It was like a little
And she
pearl.
makes that with Judd Nelson.
Yes. Like gives the pearl away. Oh, so iconic.
Judd Nelson totally pulled off that pearl at the end, too.
Yeah, I kept thinking it was on the entire time, but he had another earring in, so he just replaced it, which to me, I thought was a reference to like another girlfriend he had. Like another girlfriend gave him that earring because it was very feminine.
And he just kicked her to the side for Claire.
Just pulled
He was
it
like,
off, yeah.
My new girl with this pearl. Girl with the pearl. Molly Ringwald's new character. Girl with the pearl.
Perfect.
Girl with the pearl. Pearl girl.
Speaking of Breakfast Club, I remember my senior year of high school, I dressed up as John Bender for Halloween. And the only person who knew who I was being was my English teacher.
Ugh. That sucks. I would have known.
I went to an all boys high school.
Yeah.
So, they were paying attention to other stuff and not these great movies from the 80s that everybody should know.
Like passing around like Playboys? What are they into?
Sports.
What? Oh,
Just
sports.
all sports. Sports and being
Sure.
vaguely racist.
Yeah. I forget sports often are a thing in the world.
Yeah. It's true. Sports were such a thing at my high school because that's where all the funding went, and that's why the theater department was the way it was. But we loved it. We made the most of it.
I feel like Taylor Swift is like this generation's Molly Ringwald, don't you think? Like,
I need to see her act more because she can be very goofy, but like I don't know if she can actually pull off some of the nuance of Molly Ringwald,
yeah.
because it's
Honestly, guys, Kieran Shifka might be this generation's Molly Ringwald.
I mean she's really
Yeah.
great.
And that they have similar
They do.
vibes now that you
Almost.
bring it up.
Yeah, I could see it. Like if there was a new Brat Pack, like who would be in it? And it's like it was almost like High School Musical, like that cast was it for a second. Because they
had a shot at it and they did not stick the landing.
because they just followed the typical Disney child star progression, basically.
Yeah. I think
I mean, look how long it took Zephron to be in a musical again.
that's true. They also mentioned Zac Efron in this film, like 2 minutes into the movie.
That's true, they
I
do.
was like, there it is. Here we are. We've arrived.
I did half expect for him to show
I
up
did
later in the
too.
film. I was like, that's an oddly specific reference
I'm Zac Efron.
for 2023.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody loves the Zephron.
What's your next rule?
I almost made this a shot rule because of how funny it is when this happens. But it got to the point where it happens a lot, and I'm like, oh, maybe don't take a shot every time this happens. So my last drinking rule is take a drink whenever Jamie points out something problematic.
Yep.
When she uses her 2023 sensibilities to be like, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, that was very
Like,
funny.
There was one scene, it's not really a spoiler, but someone says, just think, maybe if she did do blowjob, she'd still be alive. And Jamie says,
Oh.
yeah, let's not make that the lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scene where she is walking up to her high school now, but in the 80s. And she looks and she's like, there it is, the racism. And it's like the red devil and it's an Indian. It's just exactly it. It's like, yep, we have grown so much farther than the 80s.
It's so true. And
Thank goodness somebody finally said, this, right here, I don't know about this.
Yeah, and this rule could have easily turned into something annoying. Depending on who was writing this movie, it could have been like, kids these days are quick to point out so many problems. But like, luckily, this was such a smartly written movie, that it wasn't overdone, and it was like legitimate things that like, hey, don't do that shit anymore,
Yeah.
Like, hey, Ducky, stop being an asshole.
Have
you considered not?
I love how even they even comment on the fact of like time travel movies make no sense. Like, we've created this thing where we go into a box and then we step out the other side and here we are in this other dimension. And they try to talk about how they try to explain it of like, oh, time is like a river. If you jump in it at one point, you get out and you go further up and jump in it again. There's a trickle effect. And I was like, you know what? Good for you. We're finally we're getting some science behind it in some way.
You've acknowledged it and then moved on.
And you know what movie they reference when they make that example? Avengers Endgame.
Endgame? Yep.
Loved it.
Do you understand quantum physics? Well, I saw Endgame.
Lavender, do you have any more rules?
I don't think so. I think those were all mine. I have the dodgeball, bloody scene, smoking. Did I do one more? I think that was it. I think I'm good.
Cool. Sounds good. Party people, don't forget, we're not doctors. We don't know your health.
Yes.
We haven't seen your charts.
Yeah.
Drink responsibly. Don't drink at all if you don't want to. No pressure. Have a nice root beer float.
I'm a big fan of pointing at the screen and going, hey!
That's the rule.
Even when it's not on, Ansel will just point at the TV just to acknowledge it.
Yeah, it wigs out my cat, so I just keep doing it.
You get extra points in my book if you do a pickle shot. The pickle juice shot. Yeah.
Okay.
That's an extra bonus if anyone wants to do that in my honor.
Like as a pickle back or just on its own?
It's delicious.
I mean, it is delicious.
I did that in quarantine when I wasn't drinking in the early stages of quarantine, and they would send you, like, friends would send you, take a shot with me, and it was like on Instagram or something. Yep. And so I was taking pickle shots.
Yeah. Okay. You still get that like harsh acidity and like, so you're still going to have a similar response. So that makes sense.
I mean, people in this world take Malort shots, so why not pickle shots, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Party people, thanks for joining us. We're so glad to be back. Sorry for taking an extended absence without checking in on you, but, sometimes you just need a little recharge, right? Everybody needs a little break. But we're back with a vengeance and revenge on the mind. I mean, probably not, but
Pro- Probably just more movies.
more
Yeah.
movies on the mind. Yeah. Root beer, maybe. Root beer floats on the mind.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things
Malort.
on our minds. Not
Pickle
Malort.
shots.
Ugh. I'm not even drinking Malort, and I can like
Pizza themed casseroles.
ooh,
Hot dogs with too many things on them.
ugh.
That's wrong. Just the right amount of things on them.
You can find us on the internet. I am at bsilverio20 on Instagram, X, barf, Threads, Blue Sky. I'm on all the things. You know, I'm even on Hive if you still use that.
I tried.
I liked
tried.
it. It was fun, and then nobody used it. But yeah, Lavender. Where can people?
How about you, Lavender? Yeah.
Where can people find you?
I am predominantly on Instagram, so you can find me at Lavender Vyxn, and that's VYXN on Instagram.
And I am at The Indecisionist on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. Yeah, those places. I'm on the socials at that. This has been an Indecisionist production. Find more information about the show, show notes, and full transcripts of every episode from Season 3 at indecisionist.com. I'm not really on X much anymore, where I was just Indecisionist. So maybe my branding is better now that that's gone, I guess. Maybe that's helped me.
Elon Musk has just ruined our outro now by ruining social media.
Yeah, everything's broken. Do hashtags even work anymore? I don't know. Kinda on
they're
Instagram,
not on
a little.
Blue Sky. So
Nope.
I mean, they're on Threads, right?
That said, if you'd like to use a hashtag,
Yeah.
ours is time2party. That's time the number 2 party, or time the number 2 party, all spelled out. Thanks to Warwick.
Yes. Be sure to tune in next week when we hit you with our review of Totally Killer.
Wherever you are on the time stream,
Be excellent to each other.
Party on, dude.